Hi, hello, and welcome back to Crick Static Season 3. I am Tasmay Krishnan, the creator and host of this podcast, which is powered by Wannabuy, an exclusive buyers only listing portal which uses its fantastic AI algorithms to make the matching and the buying process an absolute breeze. They've made buying a charm and made it as exciting as T20 cricket. You have all the facets covered there. You get to experience a very user friendly platform, and they've now shifted their more poignant focus towards the much needed development in the buying and the rental processes, with the rest of the facets of their business being in the pipeline. So if you're still looking for properties and slogging on the streets, I don't know what you're waiting for. You're missing out on absolute gold on www.wannabuy.in. Or if you feel an app is better, they've got that covered too. You can download the Wannabuy app, available on iOS and Android. So give it a download, and 100% you'll not be left disappointed. Experience a very user-friendly platform. And with this, we begin this episode. A great game of cricket what we witnessed yesterday between the Rajasthan Royals and Delhi Capitals. I am wearing pink already, so you would have found out who I'm supporting and who I've been supporting throughout the season after just Chennai Super Kings, the Rajasthan Royals, and yes, a little bit of personal bias kicks in because R. Ashwin is part of the squad. But coming on to the game, I think it was a great game of cricket. It started off in a very even base. When you're 36 for 3, it's very hard to recover. Sanju Samson showed glimpses of scoring runs once again, but after that, he's coming off a good game, mind you. You thought everything is going very well for the Royals, and it's going set after a while. So there were a lot of ebbs and flows in the game for both the sides. You've got to say that. So I think it was a well balanced game of cricket in an overall and a general perspective. But going on to the analytical side of it, I must say that the way the Rajasthan Royals started was disappointing. Josh Buttler and Yashasvi Jaiswal not making runs, and Sanju Samson also not making runs. But then your middle order stepping up with someone who's not designated to bat at that number 5 position, stepping up with those 30 crucial runs in R. Ashwin. All of that, coming together. You have Sandeep Sharma and Avesh Khan who are coming in and nailing the death bowlers. They're supposed to be, somewhat they would say the supporting cast of, Trent Bolt, Ravi Ashwin and Yuzvendra Chahal. But with them stepping up now, what it unlocks is a new dimension. RR is not only a team that is heavily reliant on Sanju Samson, Yashasvi Jaiswal, Trent Bolt, Ravi Ashwin, Chahal, and Josh Buttler. They're saying that the rest of our 5 players are good enough, and we're going to get them onto the limelight as well right now. And it's great to see them step up. I've been rooting for this one player for many years now. I faced a lot of criticism, a lot of memes. But last game as well, I predicted saying that Riyan Parag would have a good game and a great season overall. In fact, because I see a lot of potential in Riyan Parag. For some reason, how much ever the public continues to criticize him for his they call him somewhat of a vainglorious person, but in my opinion, there's a difference between being a smug and knowing the talent that you possess, and I think Riyan Parag is the latter option because he's someone who's constantly trying to improve and he's putting in the hard yards in the nets. You can clearly see that. Yesterday, he's playing with a lot of hunger. He wants the runs now. He's desperate for those runs. He's here saying that, I'm a good player. He's backing himself. He knows he has the metal within, so he's trying to showcase to the world that I'm a good player. I'm going to prove it to you. And sometimes people say don't try to prove to others the skill that you possess. But I think in Riyan Parag's case, it's fueling him to do better and better. So it's nice to see him step up. And now going on to the little more of the tactical side and what went through his head when he was batting. I think a lot of it was based on not being tentative with your feet. And I think that's been one problem with Riyan Parag. One is his temperament and the other is the way he moves his feet. He usually doesn't move it a lot. He likes to stay where he is and play the ball. But yesterday there was a lot of improvement. And a few sixes that he hit were absolutely phenomenal, And it's not like he hit, just a few, every Tom, Dick and Harry for 6. He knew exactly which bowler to target, which over to go for. And very controlled innings. I felt the best aspect of that whole innings was that he batted till the end. And that's one thing that even MSD used to say a lot to Ruturaj Gaikwad, saying, an opener is not someone who can only give you a fiery start and depart. An opener is a guy who guides you through. He's someone who can bat through the 20 overs. And that has been the large development in the CSK squad as well. So I feel right now with Riyan Parag batting deep, what it gives Rajasthan Royals is that it's a sense of, okay, you know what, if the top 3 fails now, we have Riyan Parag at 4. And the more Riyan Parag gets, experience and the more he starts to score, the more confidence boosts for him, the more he becomes a better player. And I definitely see him representing India. Whatever people say, he's definitely up there. He's I rate him extremely highly. Others might contradict. They might say he's just a 2-game, lucky merchant. But you never know. I really rate this guy highly. I have a feeling he's going to have a great season this time. He's in the orange cap top 5, if I'm not mistaken. And yesterday he was just toying with the field, wasn't he? Wherever you bowled, he used to produce a shot. And that just shows the pedigree of the player. And I hope Riyan Parag goes places because he's got the potential. He's got all the skill. He's got all the adroitness with the bat. And if he can unlock that dimension with the ball as well, being a very uncanny off spinner, then you've got a lot of potential to look forward to for the country. And now coming on to the turning point of the game, in my opinion, was not that the death bowling mastery which the RR management I think is nailing time and again. They're backing the right people for the death overs. Sanju Samson is doing a great job as a captain, in my opinion. But coming on to the way R. Ashwin played, now people will be saying that I'm partial, I'm biased, and I agree. Being an Ashwin aficionado, someone who looks up to him greatly, I try impersonating him time and again in the nets. But I think that innings, that 29 of those 16 deliveries that he faced, very crucial knock. That set the base for a big finishing platform. I completely contradict to what the P-Dog said in one of his tweets. Prasanna, the analyst, saying, I don't agree with Ashwin coming at that number 5 position. But what people have to look at is that, or even a critic or anyone who doesn't like Ashwin have to look at is that ideally you would like Shimron and Dhruv Jurel to come in and give you that finishing prowess towards the end. R. Ashwin cannot finish games for you. He's the kind of person who's going to take 3 balls to find his feet, and then accordingly he's going to get acquainted to the role that you want him to play or the role you want him to embody. Because let's say you want him to go out there and say, you know what, Ash, play out 5 overs. Just keep rotating. Play 30 of 30. We don't have a problem. But just keep rotating. Or you can just tell him, Ash, the game is not going in our favor. Just go out there and go for the biggies. Make sure the momentum switches back to us. The field gets spread out and you can take some easy singles. And he clobbered 3 sixes, and all of them are exceptional shots. He's an ostentatious cricketer, a very, very underrated batsman in my opinion. He started off as an opening batter. The way he changed the momentum, I think that gave RR some stability towards the end. You knew now, okay, right. The last 5 overs, I have Dhruv Jurel, I have Riyan Parag at one end who's batting solid, and you also have Shimron Hetmyer. So the finishing flourish was always going to be guaranteed when you have these two at the death. So a very wise move, if I'm not mistaken. I think he scored a fabulous 50, Ash, last year versus the Delhi Capitals as well. So I'm looking forward to Ash batting at number 5, not on a regular basis. And I say this because it's got to be according to the situation. You can't make him your designated number 5 or number 6. It's got to be, okay, if I'm 35 for 3, I'm going to send an Ash. And that's exactly what they did. Okay, if we're now, let's say we're 90 for 1, I just need a couple of 6s. I don't want to let another batsman go get out in the open. I'm going to send Ash. There should be some sort of planning with regard to that. But on a regular basis, that's where the skepticism gets invoked. But I think, when you have someone of the brain of Kumar Sangakkara in that dugout, that goes without saying. So I think, Sangakkara will plan it out quite well. And now returning on to the Delhi Capitals, the way they bowled was very good. I think Akshar Patel's spell was very hard to see out. Again, stump to some consistent bases on a length. Always extremely hard to hit. And the ball that he picked up Ashwin's wicket off with, I thought it was a 6, but it was a good catch by Tristan Stubbs, I have to say that. And now coming on to Khalil Ahmed, I think another very underrated spell from him. I rate Khalil very highly. I don't know what happened after that Bangladesh game back a couple of years back. Everything went haywire for him. But after so many injuries, he's come back once again and he's bowled exceptionally. So I have a lot of respect for Khalil Ahmed. I hope Khalil goes on to do well for the Delhi Capitals. He holds key being that Indian pacer. And now coming on to the Delhi Capitals, the batting contingent, I think all of them batted well. You've got to give. I think Rishabh Pant, yes, you have to excuse him because he's coming off of something we all know about, and a tragic accident. Let him take his time to set in. It's not easy to immediately come in. A lot of people argued on Twitter saying he's got sufficient net practice. He should be able to come and score the runs immediately. But to whoever said that, I must say that net practice and match simulation is completely different. There are two things that you can practice for. Match simulation, put yourself in a situation, 28 of 10 balls, how do I play? And then net practice is generally getting back into the groove. Yes, it's a very imperative factor, but once you're on the field, there's no substitute for it. There's no substitute for what it is to feel like when you're playing a match. The pressure, the 40,000 people chanting your name when you walk out to bat, it's always very hard. So Rishabh Pant, I think you've got to give him time. But the way, again, the opener started is very good. It's giving the Delhi Capitals management glimpses of what is in store for them in the future with regard to this season. They have another 12 matches to go, and you can very much see that David Warner and Mitchell Marsh are saying, you know what, in the Aussie tone, rightio, we are here, we are going to make the runs, just give us a time. You can see what we already have in store. We can go for the big hits from ball 1, we can stabilize if you require us to, but we are going to be all in all power play exploiters. Very unlucky of David Warner to get out at 49, but it's cricket and this happens. Coming on to Yuzvendra Chahal's spell, 3 overs, 2 for 19 if I'm not mistaken again. He was terrific. Chahal time and again, the highest wicket taker in the IPL. A colleague of mine, Habal, would be very happy. If you haven't seen the episode where we drafted an all-time IPL 11, he's an absolute Chahal fan, so watch that episode. It's available on Spotify. But I must say, the way Chahal bowled was fantastic. The loop, sometimes even a little bit, he kept it a little short at times to not let the batsman know what his next delivery is going to be. And when you don't when you keep mixing it up, sometimes the batsman also feels, oh, I can't step out at this delivery. What if he bowls it wide? So again, I've probably overused this cliche, but again, the skepticism gets re-invoked. So, it's great to see what Chahal has been doing. Hopefully, he comes for the T20 World Cup. You never know. With Yuzvendra Chahal, I think on those pitches, if it's perceived to be sluggish and slow tracks, then you might be looking at Yuzvendra Chahal possibly travelling with the team. And coming on to the death bowling finish, I'll come to Nandre Berger at the last because I was very impressed with Nandre Berger. But coming on to the death bowling finish, wow, just exceptional bowling from Sandeep Sharma and Avesh Khan. Yes, Ash was it was misfired from him at times, but you have to see that the catch was dropped and the run out was missed. So you can't do too much about that. But I must say, the way Sandeep Sharma has been nailing the death overs, and Avesh Khan, Sandeep has got all the experience under his belt, so you'd expect him to come and do this, but still to see him do it, entering as a replacement player last year to cementing his spot in the side, it's been terrific to see. Sandeep Sharma is a great bowler, fantastic bowler at the death, and yet to restrict someone of MS Dhoni's, fandom magnitude. I'm not even talking about the skill that MSD possesses. It's unparalleled when it comes to finishing games. But when you have at Chepak, I was live at that game, and you have around 40,000 odd people shouting Dhoni, Dhoni, and the last ball, and you need 5 of the last ball if I'm not wrong, and then when Sandeep Sharma runs in and nails that Yorker, he silenced 40,000 people. So that shows the amount of pressure you're under, and to come in and deliver that, it's fantastic to see. So Sandeep Sharma, the way he's going about his bowling, I think RR management will be very impressed. And coming on to Avesh Khan, the development that Avesh has made with regard to his death bowling finesse has been, it's great to see. As someone who's not a big fan of Avesh Khan and me, I think yesterday changed my perspective completely. I remember this one game, I think he was playing for the Delhi Capitals, and KS Bharat finishes him for a 6. It was 7 of 1, bowls a wide, comes back 6 of 1, and he gets dispatched straight over the side screen if I'm not wrong. And that game, I remember him laughing when it was 7 of 1, thinking, oh, match is sealed. Yesterday, I was just trying to see if Avesh had laughed again, or if there was any glimpse of or even a glimmer of happiness on his face. Nothing. It's fantastic to see that there's a consistent thought process of seriousness, saying, the game is still not over. I've got to nail the next 4 balls. He didn't give them anything on offer, did he? He just completely, eluded the bat from the ball. He kept nailing those, wide Yorkers. He kept bowling on the stumps as well. And every now and then, occasionally, he mixed it up with a good short ball. So I'm very happy with the way Avesh has gone about his stuff. Even Mukesh Kumar is bowling very well at the death. So India is really looking forward to a lot of potent death bowling options. You have T. Natarajan as well, who's coming on quite well. So let's hope India does unlock many death bowling options. And now coming on to Nandre Berger, what a spell! Fantastic bowling. I don't think there's too much Mitch Marsh and Ricky Bhui can complain about. Absolute pacing. He came in, rushed in with the delivery. They didn't know what was happening at all, both the batsmen. And you really can't blame them, can you? Because when a bowler is bowling at the peak of his powers, all you can do is sit back and just watch him bowl from the non-striker's end and say, you know what, I don't want to face him. And as a striker, the only thing you're thinking about is how do I get to the non-striker's end? So I think Nandre Berger was bowling beautifully yesterday. His seam presentation was fantastic. The ball was bouncing off a little bit early in the first innings. The reason why I felt RR was, I think the good total would have been 150, but because of Riyan Parag's knock, it completely got elevated. The ball wasn't coming onto the bat. That would be the second innings in any other, that would be very resonant to a second innings on any other surface. But in this surface, for some reason, the ball didn't come onto the bat in the first half and came onto the bat in the second half. So very astounding to see that. And I felt, the way he played was, the way the Nandre Berger ball was terrific. Running in time and again, bowling at a good pace, at a good length. It was great to watch. So Nandre Berger, definitely a prospect to watch out for. The way he debuted for South Africa also was exceptional. And let's hope he does something big. I remember my colleague Surya, my boss, in fact, at Sportskeeda, predicting that Nandre Berger will go to the Rajasthan Royals, and he was absolutely bang on. He was on the money. So if you haven't watched that episode, it was before the auction, the RR review. So you can watch it. I think we clubbed RCB and RR together. And it was a great episode. So Nandre Berger, the way he's coming about, it's going to be a big plus point for the Rajasthan Royals. Great, an impact player for real. So now coming on to the last, person who I want to throw out a big appreciation to, because he impressed me. He took me absolutely stunned because the way he batted, He was terrific, wasn't he? Tristan Stubbs, the way he batted, he was sensational. 43 of 24, highly unlucky to not be able to finish the game, but he was exceptional to watch as well. So let's hope Tristan Stubbs continues his good run of form because he holds key again for the Delhi Capitals. And with this, we conclude another riveting episode from Crick Static. I am Tasmai Krishnan, the creator and host of this podcast powered by Wannabe, the world's first exclusive 360 degrees buyers only listing portal. Thank you for tuning in. Signing off, this is Tasmai Krishnan. Enjoy more such riveting episodes by subscribing and liking our episodes. Do let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well. Thank you once again for tuning in. Until next time, ciao.